So I did a 72-hour fast, and I wanted to share with you what I learned and what my results were after the fact. Hey, Wellness Warrior, welcome to Lower Toxic Life, where we share all the great things about how to live healthier, cleaner, and closer to nature in a simple way that doesn't overwhelm you. So it's kind of interesting. I started this fast kind of on a whim. I literally wasn't planning to. I do intermittent fasting, and there is a playlist here that goes through all of that, how to set it up, how to do it effectively, and what I've learned and experienced. So check that out in the show notes below. But I literally had finished eating dinner because I closed my window early at 4:30 in the afternoon and was going through YouTube. And a video popped up for me about doing a 48-hour fast. And it was kind of interesting. It was somebody new to me. And I can't even remember now, A, who the channel was, B, what it was about the headline that captivated me, but it did. And I watched it and I thought, wow, that makes sense to me. I kind of wanted to do a digestive reset. So that was one of my biggest reasons for doing this. And something in the video was along those lines. But I thought, you know what? I looked at my calendar. I didn't have to be anywhere. I did have lunch with a friend, but I thought I can manage my mind to have iced tea for lunch. And I'm very disciplined and very good at that. And I'm a foodie and I love to cook, but the smell of food, I've learned to train my brain not to allow that to trigger me to break my commitment and my decision to myself. But I looked at my calendar and I thought this is a perfect time to do it. So I had set a goal to do a 48-hour fast. Now, I want to be very clear with this. This was not a pure 100% water, black coffee, black tea only fast. And I did that intentionally because I was working to do a digestive reset, but I wasn't fully prepared to go water only or, 0 calorie or whatever. I will be doing one of those and I will share the results with you. I do those for 24 and 36 hours frequently. But for this particular one, I knew I wanted to get a few little healthy fats in there, just enough to not upset the entire fast, not to completely upset autophagy, which if you don't know what that is, I will leave that video in the notes below too, so you understand that's your body's internal cleanup system, which is what it goes into once it's starved. I don't really like to use that word because it's never really starved. But once our new calories and nutrients aren't coming in to the body, so the body has to dine in, meaning it starts using stored fat and a lot of those things for its fuel. In addition to that, it starts cleaning up. I like to use the dishwasher analogy. It starts cleaning up old cells and things that need repaired in our system. And when we take a digestive break by not putting new food in, we give our body the chance to do that. And that's really what I was looking to do on this phase. Now, it's interesting. I like to really weigh in on my body and the messages it's sending me. And sometimes when you start doing a fast, you can get to hungry mode, and I can work myself through that. And then often what I do is I wait till I get to truly hangry mode to satiate my body by putting something into it. Now, it was interesting. What I found that at about the 36-hour mark, at about the 36-hour mark, I was feeling so good. I thought, I'm not that far from 48, which was 4:30 in the afternoon. And I knew that planning an early bedtime by 9, I could make it. I could do fine. I could make it from 4:30 to 9, go to sleep, and then I would be fine until the next day. And so I decided to extend that fast to 60 hours. And then again, I felt so great at 60 hours. I thought, you can do 12 more hours. You can do it. And so I went ahead and extended it to 72. Now, the next things I want to talk to you about is what I actually consumed during that time. Now, I like to get up and have 4 Brazil nuts every day. This is a healthy fat. These are raw, they're organic, and I do soak them and then dehydrate them. That's a whole nother story. So every morning I had 4 of these, and then I actually had 3 more throughout the 3-day period, just to kind of satiate my body and take my mind off of feeling hungry, just a little healthy fat. So I had 15 Brazil nuts. I have some notes here so that I don't forget to tell you what I ate. Then I also had 3 4-ounce shot of kombucha. Now I know there's sugar in that. there's probiotics, there's conflicting opinions. I just happen to really like this. I do it every morning. It's got the probiotics. And I always say I'm an 80-20 girl. So if you have a better idea, a better one, leave it in the comments below. I'm open to exploring that. But it's just kind of one of those things that's kind of on the 80% and kind of on the 20% that I just do. So I always consume this with my 4 Brazil nuts, and not the entire bottle, 4 ounces. So one of these 16-ounce bottles lasts me for 4 days. So I had 3 different shots, 4-ounce shots over the course of 3 days. And then I had a total of 4 cups of organic bone broth, homemade bone broth that I made. Recipe in the links below. You can always go to recipes.lowertoxiclife.com, type it in the search box, and you'll find my bone broth recipe. So I had 4 cups over the course of 3 days of organic bone broth. Okay. Just bone broth, no meat or anything mixed in with it. No, it was all cooked with that, but then it was strained out. And then I added extra sea salt, garlic, black pepper, and turmeric to that because I don't like it just plain. I like the electrolytes of a good sea salt, and it makes it taste better. And to be really honest, I love bone broth the way that I spice it up, which you'll see on my bone broth recipe. And then the one other thing that I did have is the first day I made an 8-ounce drink with organic coconut water, a shot of organic bergamot, not even the full shot, just like a half or a third of this for flavoring, some fresh lime juice and some fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. And I just wanted something to satiate me. And I looked at that and I thought, again, I'm not doing this for weight loss. I'm not doing this because I have to have my blood taken or whatever. This is my deal. And I'm tracking all this to see what it is that I actually experience. And that is it. That is, oh, that's not it. And then I also had two of the days I had my bulletproof coffee. Day number 1 or morning number 1, I did not add butter and I did not add collagen powder. And again, you can find my bulletproof recipe, which is slightly different than the one that's traditionally out there. I call it my Fat Blaster Brain Booster Coffee. So search that on my blog. Just put Fat Blaster in and it'll pop up for you in the recipes.lowertoxiclife.com. But I had that 2 mornings. And so the first morning I left out the butter, I left out the collagen, but I did use a little, probably 2 tablespoons of organic pure coconut cream. And again, I didn't want to add a lot of calories, but I wanted it to be fairly pure. And I added that. And then yesterday morning, when I got up, I actually had already pre-made my bulletproof and the collagen and the butter was in there. And I let myself go with it because honestly, I hadn't really planned to go beyond 60 hours and it was past the 60-hour mark. And then I just wanted to test things out. Now, the interesting thing is I could have kept going and I kind of wanted to. Here's one thing I want to remind you. Food is not only medicine, but it's also information in our body. Food is information in our body. And so that's why I always say it's so important that you pay attention if you're struggling with weight, if you're struggling with digestive issues, a chronic illness or whatever, as your nutrition is a big part of it, one of the things that you really want to do is eat, set a timer, okay, or however is best for you, set a timer for 20 minutes and then really pause and pay attention and ask, how am I feeling? How am I feeling right now? What are the sensations in my body? Do I feel great and refreshed? Does my mind still feel perky and alert? Do I have brain fog? Do I have gas? Do I feel bloated? Do I have indigestion? Or my digestive juices really rumbling? Do I feel achy at all? What do I feel? So it's so important that we do that after we eat, especially if we're trying to clear something up. Because again, we get so distracted in today's modern world that we eat socially. So we're out with a crowd, doing whatever, and we get distracted. We don't pay attention often to the signals that our body is giving us. Or we eat while we're, watching Netflix or reading something or whatever it is. We most often don't eat mindfully anymore. It's so important when you can begin to do that and eat slowly, mindfully, and pay attention to the signals that your body is giving you. So what I decided was, because my body was feeling so great, I wanted to break my fast in a very healthy way. So you know my seed recipe. Again, go to seeds.lowertoxiclife.com. This is organic. Everything in here is organic. This is chia seeds. All of it's a tablespoon. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, and flax seeds, all ground up in my coffee grinder because some people have digestive issues with them. I don't think that I do, but I just do it anyway because I do like the way the consistency. So it's that. There's some organic coconut flakes. I put in probably 10 pecan halves and 10 pistachio nuts. Now, if you go to my blog, you'll see I use all different types of nuts. And then I have organic blueberries on the bottom here. And then I add about 3 tablespoons of this organic coconut water. I add that to it, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. And then I will put about a tablespoon, half a tablespoon of pure, raw, organic, local honey in the morning when I eat this. So, and then I put it in the fridge. I like it. It's like overnight pudding, overnight chia seeds. To me, it can help with the digestion as the coconut water gets in there and it expands the seeds and just for me makes it more easily digestible. I don't know. I feel like it's better. When I first started doing this recipe, I didn't do it that way. Now I do, and it was great. Now here's what I noticed. When I ate the seeds, I felt great. And I wanted to keep eating, but I decided not to because I wanted to just do something really small and simple because I actually felt like I could have continued going on my fast. So I really wanted to eat more, but it wasn't because I was hungry, because this has a lot of healthy fats and fiber. And so it's very satiating when I eat this. And it's one of the things that I recommend for you and your children in place of those crappy granola cereals that you might start your morning out with, because it will really fuel the brain. All right, so I didn't keep eating. Now, here's the really interesting thing is I talk about food as information. When I woke up this morning after eating that, my joints felt a little stiff, a little inflamed. And I'm going to just sit with that. I'll let you know later what comes up with that. But I kept thinking, wow, I usually eat the seeds during the day. And again, I'd like to tell you I practice mindful eating all the time. I don't. If I get really intentional, then I try to do that, but it just doesn't always work out that way. So what I'm going to do now, because honestly, I'm going to be heartbroken if I have to give up this recipe. Now, maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's something else. Maybe the detoxification of fasting for that long loosened up some toxins that were stored in my system. Maybe. So I'm open to it not just necessarily being this, but just some residual effects of what has gone on over the last 72 hours of doing this. So I'm paying attention. Now, the funny thing is, because I eat really well, really and truly about 90 to 95% of the time, I say I'm an 80-20 girl, and I am. I give myself that grace, but I really do better than that, mostly because I feel better and I love the foods that I eat that are nutrient dense. I just love them. So I don't ever feel like I am being deprived or sacrificing. Now, I had to get to that point, right? I had to detox and get rid of my addictions of other things. Some of them were physical addictions. Some of them were mental addictions, thinking that I needed that to be happy with my diet or happy with the food or happy if I went out to dinner or whatever. Kind of like giving up the bread basket. I gave up the bread basket probably in 2015, and I've really never looked back. But, I was like anyone, go to the Italian restaurant, love to dip it in the oil, whatever. And I'm not suggesting that's wrong. I just know for me, I gave that up. So what I'm doing is I ate very light this morning. I had my Brazil nuts, my kombucha, and then as you'll see here in this photo, I also felt like I wanted some vegetables. So in this photo, you'll see these are fresh microgreens, organic from the farmer's market. About a third of a very large avocado. I drizzled olive oil and balsamic over the greens, and then I just warmed up some leftover green beans, probably 2 small new potatoes, and there's literally about 4 little pieces of diced up bacon that was left over from cooking them with the green beans. Now, Tim Ferriss of the 4-Hour Work Week is the one who gave me, he is of the 4-Hour Work Week, but he also wrote The 4-Hour Body. I've never been a huge breakfast person. And when I read his book and he talked about what he ate for breakfast, I was like, wow, I don't know why I felt like I needed permission to eat broccoli and black beans for breakfast in the morning, but he gave me permission and I just started eating whatever I wanted for breakfast that fed me and fueled me in a healthy way and never looked back. So that's what I did this morning. I do have my bulletproof coffee that I'm drinking here. But what I'm going to do with the seeds to, again, continue to test, because food is information, I am going to, not right away, but in the next couple of days, I am going to eat my lunch early and allow about a 6-hour window for everything to get out of my system where I'm not eating anything else. And then I'm going to eat this exact same thing at around 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. And then I'm going to sleep on it. And I'm going to see what my body tells me the next morning. That's my first step to test and tweak and hack my own body. And then if it's the same way, then I will start one by one removing things as I do this. You know, it doesn't mean the whole thing, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but maybe it's chia seeds, maybe it's hemp seeds, maybe it's the coconut. I don't think so. I do a lot of coconut. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's the honey. It's a different brand of honey that I'm using right now. So maybe it's that, and I'm barely started using it, but I am exploring that. I'm paying attention, and we'll see where that goes. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you are. As I'm releasing this, we're in the middle of the sugar shakedown. Make sure you watch that playlist. These are just some different things that you can use to lower the toxins, lower the inflammation and the cortisol in your body that helps you hang on to resistant weight, have that brain fog, sleep like crap, and all the other things. Go to lowertoxiclife.com and grab my guide.